Hey, what's going on, AI mates? Welcome back to AI Mate Live every single Monday, where today we're going to talk about building your first agent without NAN and without Airtable, or you don't have to use them yourself to get to the result that we want. So, take a quick look at this that I built with my actually useful AI agent. It was able to build all of this for me, and this runs every time I ask it. And as you can see, it's absolutely incredible, especially when it comes to that I didn't build any of this myself. I just used my frameworks to get to the output without writing a single NAN node, without writing anything into Airtable. It was all done for me with my AI assistant. And so today I'm going to show you another example. Let me just do another one. So that one generates viral thumbnails whenever I want them. This one is a viral radar, which is scraping content, kind of like when we were running it inside of NAN, or it's pretty much similar. But this one is all on the YouTube. So essentially, every single one of these channels here gets scrapes every single day and goes into this viral videos idea list. And then it sends me a morning message to say, hey, these YouTube channels have posted these videos and these keywords are the most viral every morning. And before I would think about this as a way that I would do it with NAN. But now that I can use agentic workflows, everything has just become so much easier because I have my agent, I talk to my agent, he builds it, and bada bing, bada boom, it's done. Like my vision that I had on my head is in real life. We also built a show docs generator. And so every day, one of the things that I'm just going to start now is to make content. And it's quite hard if you don't have ideas. So, what the show docs generator does is that every morning, again, now I haven't set this up so it's triggered every morning, but it is running currently and it's looking good. Every morning, it's making a show doc that has all of the points and things that I need for a video so I can quickly film it. So here is the show doc for February 19. And so here I already got titles. I built an AI agent that in NAN that runs my entire business. Here's how. And this is actually something I can read word for word. So it says, say this word for word. NAN just hit 150,000 GitHub stars faster than any JavaScript project in history. And I've been building on it for months. Today, I'm going to show you, etc. And so I actually say that into the camera, or if it's not good, I can go through the proof, promise, problem path, which is the intro formula that I use on pretty much every single video. They change places sometimes, but this gives me a lot of food for just going, "Brum, all right, I can film it. I know how to film it now." And here as well, we have step one, set the scene. Step two, do this, do that. And I have basically gone back and forth with the AI agent I'm about to show you how to build until I got a satisfactory result. And then I just filmed the video. And I knew that it was a good show doc because I ended the video well. And so here, topic number two. So every single day, technically, is where I get 3 ideas. And then I get a bonus doc. Now, I don't think the bonus doc is actually formatted correctly. But here's a bonus topics that also gives me some other ideas. And these are all proven based on YouTube channels that I love and watch that are in the AI agent space, the AI automation space, and they get outlier scores as well, which means that it performs better than baseline. And so a 10x outlier score, you can't really look away from that. You got to check it out and see OpenAI agent builder, this keyword. Is that something we can make a video about? Probably, and so it makes a show doc automatically for you. And so this is something that I want to give away to you. I want to show you how to build, how I got to this point. And so, if that's something you're interested in, without touching any NAN node, you don't have to touch NAN, which is crazy because I love NAN. But I'll teach you a little bit of other stuff without touching an Airtable base. So you don't have to make the columns. You don't have to make the records. I'm going to show you how essentially the AI agent can build NAN workflows and control your Airtable for you, and it's actually good. And yeah, again, this AI agent did all of these things for me. Yeah, strap up because today I'll show you how to build an actually good AI agent that does work for you. So by the end of this video, your agent can make NAN automation and Airtable bases because you came through here with the perspective of NAN and Airtable, right? So if I could get you to where the agent can actually do that for you, how awesome would that be? You don't have to set everything up from scratch. You can use this. Now there's a lot of caveats that comes along with this, but this is the single best thing that I did last week, and it is where the future of this community is going because NAN building, if ChatGPT can do it, or Claude Code can do it, or Google Gemini can do it, then why is a human gonna do it, right? So we have to level up once again. We started here as builders, and now we're agent builders, which is a different skill. But hopefully, you're here along for the ride and excited to get started. So basically, here are all the steps. And if you just follow all these steps, you take this prompt here and copy and paste it. I'll show you where to paste it. Here as well, I have some copy and paste prompts for you. So if you just follow this step by step, you should be able to get to a point where you can message it can build a workflow for you, and it can automate Airtable and move across and say, hey, what's in progress and stuff like that. So the first step is to make something that I like to call Mate OS. And this is my Mate OS. And so I don't want you to just like copy mine or something like that. You can take some inspiration, but really what I want you to do is to create a clean Airtable. And really what you could do is just to make one table that is called to-dos. So that's actually what the first step is going to be. Just make a new Airtable right in here, and I'll actually do it together with you right now. You just click on create in the bottom right, click on build app on your own, and in the top, call it Mate OS, and then your name, so Andy, and I'll call this the V02 test. And so if you think about this is literally your data storage. And so one thing you need to know about these agents is that every time you start a new chat, they're going to start from empty. They're not going to remember a lot of your previous chats. So therefore, we have to make it super simple for it to know exactly what to do, exactly where to go, and things like that, like give context to it. And so the first thing we're going to do is to tell it what task to do, because I mean, that's the most important part. So if you're following along with me, just click on delete and delete everything that isn't the name. And then in the top here, we can name that to do here. All right. Once you've done this, you can just make sure that it's saved in the top right, and you just completed step number 1. So that's super awesome. Congratulations. It's one of the operating systems. So if you think about operating systems, we need operating systems for the AI itself. So this is where we can store a lot of things. I'll show you mine once again. So here I have like my in progress. So this is what I did just right now, and my AI agent did it, which is really cool. Here I have my up next, which is where I have a lot of other stuff that is not ready like right now, because in progress you can only work on one thing at a time. So we have up next as the kind of buffer. Then we have options, which is everything. So this is also where AI can write its own to-dos, which I think is really cool. So it has actually written its own to-dos here, but of course it's not doing it itself, which is kind of great because we as the humans now become the prioritizer. And that is literally the highest leverage task for you, is to prioritize what gets done and what doesn't get done. And as humans, we're pretty bad at prioritizing what gets done. You're like, you may set up something, and then all of a sudden you have a to-do list that's like 10 to-dos. And you're just like, the thing in progress never actually got done. Right? It's like, oh, I'm just gonna build a Claude, I'm just gonna build a little thing, and then all of a sudden you haven't done anything. Well, forcing you to have one work in progress, like you can't have more than one or two here, forces you to just do that. And then it's completed, and then you do another one. Or, that's the thing. Here you also have shipped. So this is what you actually did. I tried to make like my own scoring system as well because I love number going up. And yeah, I'm actually going to install this, I believe, but I'm just going to simplify it. But yeah, this is mine. And if you want your own, you can just prompt it into reality. I'll show you more about that. Here I have my backbone where I have like who my who my niche is, what my premium offer is, the backstory. And so it can give it a little bit more context. And so this can be the source of truth of who you are, who you help, what is the problem. And so this one continually gets updated, right? Here we have some scaling trackers, sales tracker, a bunch of other stuff. And this is literally what my agent has built out for me. And so let's talk about how to go to the point where you can actually get Cloud Code to start doing things like that. This, um, getting NAN built, and Airtables as well. So we're going to build a little first agentic workflow here together, which is going to be super sick. If you never did this before, this single thing hopefully changes your life more than anything. And hopefully I can be the one to give you this transformation. So the next step is to download Claude Desktop. Claude.com. Just go to Claude.com. Actually, no, Claude Desktop. Just search Claude Desktop into Google and then go to this website, claude.com/download. And once you get here, you can download it for Mac or Windows. It's important that it's not the online version. So just use whatever you want. Once it's downloaded, you can go inside by just searching for it, Claude. And here is where you can add a new chat and act just like an LLM that you are probably normally used to. However, what is different from this compared to how a real agent can work for you is that you have both co-work and you have code. Now, code is something that people are afraid of, but this is actually using no code. We're not going to code anything. But this is the most powerful AI chatbot that you can use. And so, therefore, this is what I'm going to teach you next, how to use Claude Code. And again, it's not for coding, okay? It does everything. It can do every single thing that a human can do, which is pretty insane. Almost, besides, you know, drinking water. I think robots aren't really that good at drinking water. Maybe they'll be better at us at that sometime as well. But I'm happy that the robots aren't really eating my Snickers or my McDonald's. Those are tasks made for humans. So now we're on Claude Code. And again, if you haven't seen this before, it's not doing code. You just ask it to do something and it can do it most of the time. So the example that we're actually going to do in this video here is a pretty simple example, and it may be hard if you come from the um, NAN era where it's like, oh, you got to do this workflow and that workflow, and that is that we're going to build a NAN workflow that runs every morning at 7 a.m. It scrapes the top trending topics from Twitter, Reddit, YouTube about AI automation, AI agents, and based the three most relevant ones from my niche, writes a short content angle for each one, and sends it to me on Telegram as a morning briefing. All right, so this is one that I have. I have it a little bit different. Like I actually ask it to check through Mate OS and see what I did yesterday and what I did to or what I should do today. And then I ask it to check through Rundown AI, which is my favorite newsletter. And then I ask it to summarize just the top things with RSS and send me a message in the morning. However, this prompt here is very, very similar. So we're going to give it NAN and Airtable access, but we're actually going to just start giving it the prompt and then seeing what happens. And I'll talk you to a little bit about security and folder storage before you actually go ahead and do this. And that is, there are two things you need to do in order for you to kind of get all out of it. And that is number one, you need to create a folder in the bottom here. I've called mine Claude folder. So mine is actually it's in my Google Drive just so I can access it from other sites as well. But you can just use a local file on your computer, or you can just store a Claude folder on your desktop and use that. The most important is that you give it access to a folder so you can, make new folders, make new files, and stuff like that. Next, to get the most out of it, you need to get to the bypass permissions stage. And this is where Claude Code is not going to ask you for, hey, should I do this or not? In the when it comes to allowing stuff, like should I run this terminal command? You don't have to say yes or no on every single one of them. Most of them are yes, but it is going to come back to you when it comes to like creative stuff. Like, hey, what do you think about this, or what do you think about this? It's actually going to come back to you and ask for answers. And so let's pop this one in. And again, to get bypass permissions, you have to go, and this is very important, open the sidebar, click on your plan, click on settings. Next, click on Claude Code. And then in here, click on this one, allow bypass permissions mode. Once you've set that one up, you have to restart your Claude Code or just your Claude desktop software. And then next, once you're in, boom. Once you're in, you have to click on this one and click on bypass permissions. And it says warning. And I'll show you how it looks like right now. Next, you need to do Opus 4.6. And lastly, you also do have to have a paid plan. So I think it's like $13 a month for the Pro. And to get, you might run into some limitations if you're using Opus 4.6. I recommend going with Sonnet 4.6 if you are using the cheaper plan. It's not as strong, but it is good. So just go to whatever model you have and just click on go. And now it's going to start doing the work. However, for you, it's actually not going to get access to your NAN or your Airtable unless you give it the API key and a personal access token. So if you're familiar with this, you already know how to do this. But for the ones that aren't, I'm going to show you how to do that right now. But first, let's check what is the actual things that is happening right now. And because I have given it my API keys to NAN and I also given it Airtable access, I'm going to just show you the output right now on what actually happens. So you can actually check through what happens in the inside here. But actually what ends up happening, and I worked through the entire week, is that you just let it run and then you check it every now and then you answer a couple of questions and then you just check it a little bit later again. Just waiting, checking, and waiting once again. And so my beeping going off at 5 p.m. So getting your Claude Code to essentially get access to NAN and Airtable, what you need to do is to give it that, but you can't do it directly in the chat. So if you give it an um, API key directly in the chat, it's going to say, hey, this is not safe. Do not share keys with me in the chat. The safe way to do it is to have a .env file that has all of your keys. And so I'm going to show you mine right now. However, I'm going to blur out a bunch of stuff. So let me just do that real quick. And so as you can see right here, this is my Claude folder. And here are all the documents that I've given to it, and it has created itself. And the file that we need it to kind of be secret and hidden is the .env file. So I believe if we do something like hide, show hidden, let me just double check how to show hidden files. How do I show hidden files like a .env in my Claude folder? And that's the best part. You can always ask Mac Finder, CMD, VS Code, CMD shift dot. And here, as you can see, is my env. Now, I don't want to share this right now, so I'm just going to put my face up here. But here, if I execute this, it will show me all the keys. And so I'm going to show it to you. However, I'm going to block out a bunch of stuff that isn't available. So let me just block it out real quick. Yeah, actually you can't see all of it. So yeah, you can't see all of it. Actually, you can't. There's a lot of it you can't see. So if you take a look at the screen right now, you'll see my .env file. And I'll just share my tab right now, entire screen. So as you can see, here are API keys and tokens. And so this file essentially is the only thing that we do is just store Airtable personal access token and an API key. I use Google AI Studio for Nano Banana Pro, which is absolutely ridiculously good for thumbnail generation. Just put a bunch of your faces in there and inspiration thumbnail, and it almost looked similar. Here are some Telegram access tokens as well and chat ID. So I just wanted to know this. Here's a YouTube channel ID for some of my channels. And here are some automation stuff as well. And also a Claude token. Once again, I'm not really a big security expert here. I have done a couple of security measures, like, for example, don't give Claude Code access to your entire computer. Just give it a read access and then give it access to just a Claude folder to be able to write. So that's something that I did as well, which is very important for safety. The second file besides env is the claude.md. So this should live. If you don't have it, you can ask Claude Code to make it for you based on the project that you're working on. And a Claude MD is essentially a bunch of instructions that it will load every time that it is loaded. So again, if you remember that it actually forgets everything every single time, then it's very important for us to tell them, hey, the keys are in the .env file. Or the way to do this workflow is to do it in this exact steps. And so here, for example, we have a bunch of them that are called workflows. And these are specific tasks that I've given to it. And then by the end of it, I tell it, make a process and put it in the workflows folder so you can reference it again. And then I tell it, also update your claude.md file so that every time it knows that it has the capability of making thumbnails. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's in the dark and it has like a light or something like that. And it's just like, Can I make thumbnails? Yeah, dude, I can. That's nice. All right, cool. And then it knows. But until you show it, it doesn't know. So you gotta end every single sequence on update your Claude MD file. And that's literally here. Save it and standardize is literally the most important part, or for me at least. I don't know what other people are teaching, but unless it can't repeatedly do this again and again and again, it's kind of useless, right? Because it's just doing it again, is doing it from scratch every single time. Nah, do it in the process that we've done it before. So that's exactly how to give it NA and an Airtable access. And if you haven't done this before, I'm just going to double show you right now. And of course, if you've set up NAN with self-hosted, you have a way more capable NAN. This can do a lot more than what a normal NAN cloud account can do, because you can do FFmpeg and other stuff that you can give it access to, right? And so this is gonna, well, there's a lot to come, but how to give it access is to give it down into the here, the gear, and then click on NAN API. Once you've done that, you just need to click on create an API key, and yeah, just name it something. I have mine called Feb17 Claudia, and yeah, just put that API key into your .env. Make sure you save that file, and you should be good to go. The next thing is the Airtable access. Airtable personal access token. And you probably just click on this one, and then there is a personal. So here you need to go to the authentication. Here you go to the personal access token. There's a link here. Come on, give me the good one. Maybe it's here then. Personal, yeah. So here, go to airtable.com/create/tokens. Then create a new token here. And here, just name it Feb23 Claudia. And here, of course, if you wanted to give access to all current and future bases, I don't think that is too safe. So I won't recommend doing that. And there are some scopes here as well that you might not want to give it access to. So what I want is that I want it to get access to only the document, the one document that I have given it access to, which is MateOS. And then I want it to have essentially full control, but within the scope, right? So it can't essentially break free. That is my phrasing of it. But it can do anything. It can do anything inside of this sandbox, right? So here you can add a base right here. Don't do all. Do just mate OS, and then here this is the test one. Click on that, and then you can ask it to create the token. Nah, I'm not going to do it because I already did it. I'm not going to change stuff inside mine to just show it here. But essentially, this is what to do. After that, you get the personal access token. Then you paste that into your .env. The string is quite long, but after that, and after you've saved your .env file, what is absolutely incredible is that if you go back to Cloud Code here, let's check actually what it did here. And so I'm not entirely sure how it's going to filter or anything. Like I wouldn't actually send this prompt here, which is browse Twitter and Reddit and YouTube all in one go, right? I would like browse these specific YouTube channels. So that is kind of why my automation is like that. But I wanted to test it on exactly this prompt just to see what happens, right? So I have channels here. Like I highly recommend you adding your own channels, and then it reading the channels is probably going to give you a better consistent output, because creators are amazing, right? Like some creators only talk about the specific thing that you care about, because all of these are not AI, like broad AI. They are just like builders. Besides Matt Wolf, like he's not really that much of a builder, but all the other ones are agentic builders. But let's take out what Claude actually said here. Former X trending data. Twitter API requires paid access. Which approach do you prefer for getting X Twitter trends? So here, I would actually go with Twitter API or what is it called? Yeah, Twitter API. Twitter API.io. And so if you think about this, you can use it just like before, kind of. So if I just wanted to use this, I can just give it the API in the .env, and then I can use it freely, which is absolutely insane because you don't have to make any end nodes. So here, if you have this, I have it. So what I'm gonna do is go to the dashboard. Nope, where's my keys? Here we go. Post tweet API. There's a bunch. I'm not gonna set up all this. Is just a test. I'm just gonna ask it to use the Google API because I do have the Google API, and I'm just going to copy paste this just for this example. Like we could go further, but Claude Code is not like the fastest thing in the world. Like you'll find out that it's not super quick of doing stuff from scratch, but it gets the work done, right? So we can run multiple at the same time. Can you actually skip X and Reddit? I just want you to use YouTube for, let's do two of the channels in this list here. And then I'll just submit that. So this is something that you would do as well. Like now your agent is working. Got it. YouTube only. Two specific channels. Which two channels from the list? All 10 channels. I would love to do Nick Saraev and Nate Herc. So those are obviously, I think, the biggest names in AI automation. And so to see what they are doing, just to get a broad perspective on which keywords are working the best, which words are outliers, what's happening is always a good idea. If you're making any type of content, you're probably already doing this manually yourself by just clicking on their YouTube channel and looking through their channel, right? Now take a look at this. Now I have everything. Let me build the deploy script. The approach, RSS feed for Nick Sarav and Nate Herc, free, no API. Code node to parse the recent videos. Claude API to pick the top 10 trending topics for your niche and write content angles. Telegram to send the briefing. Awesome. Go ahead and do that. So I just looked through it. Sometimes it's not going to give you the best result. And also sometimes you might be thinking in a different way now than you were thinking before. And so always give it more instructions if you need to. And always feel free to end the prompt with ask me any questions if you need to. That is my favorite way of asking. And by the end of it, it actually um, by the end of me talking using whisper flow, it may be a little bit rambly sometimes. And so therefore questions are really important. Now, if you're building with agents, one of the things that you need to have, and this is non-negotiable, is a whisper flow. And this is because you don't type, you just speak, right? It literally is 100 times faster, especially because I don't, like sometimes when I'm starting the whisper flow, I don't even know what my thought process is, but by just using my mouth and speaking into the microphone and just like using a framework called GPS, I always get to a satisfactory kind of prompt. Maybe it's a little bit too many words. Maybe it's not the best thing in the world, but at least it kind of ends up there without too much back and forth. So now it's actually just working. And I actually love doing two agents at a time. But the one thing I need to talk to you about is for sure the GPS prompting framework. Goal, problem, solution. So if you're not prompting like this, you have to listen up right now. This is the only way to prompt agents, I think. Of course, I'm not anything like, who am I in this agent space kind of, but it is really, think about an agent like a human. And if I would give this to a human, I think they would do really well. And so that's the framework that we're using for normal people and also agents. And I really want you to think about it at the same. Like some people are asking their agents to do crazy stuff that isn't possible because it doesn't really know all that stuff. You kind of have to teach it and stuff like that. But anyways, the GPS prompting format is goal. What is your goal? So here I'm going to use whisper flow. What is your goal? All right. The problem is, what's the problem standing in the way of your goal? What is the possible solution that you've come up with this so far? And just like that, if you're speaking that into the microphone, the agent is going to be, I can't say like 5 times or 10 times, like how do I quantify that? But literally 10 times better at just knowing what to do. Like some people, like I've seen your prompts and it's garbage. So use this instead. Like, what is the goal? So let's say, I think we actually did it. Like, your goal is to make a thumbnail generator. The problem is, or if I say this in the framework, it's your goal is to make a thumbnail generator that goes off every day in the morning. Oh wait, it's not a thumbnail generator. It's a scraper that goes off every day in the morning. The problem may be that you don't have access to my Airtable and NAN tokens and keys. So the solution is that I'm just going to give that to you, and I'll be right back. Sometimes you can even solve your own problems by doing the GPS prompting format. All right. So keep that in the back of your head. Goal, problem, solution, and you will be way, way ahead of a lot of people when it comes to prompting. And the more specific you can be, the better. You may want to tell it to find files itself, and you're like, hey, you know where this file is, right? Don't do that. Just give it the file or tell it exactly which folder the file is in. Because actually searching around in different folders is not one of the best things with it. Like, why do why um why that when you can just tell it where the folder is because you already know. All right, look at this. So now we have actually done a workflow that is trending topics scout v1 is live. And I love the naming of it as well. So daily trigger 7 a.m. It triggers a fire every day Bangkok time. Fetch Nigsar RSS, Nay Herc RSS, build trending brief, send Telegram message, and here is the output format as well. And let's see. This runs 10 minutes before your morning brief, so it actually knows about my morning brief, which is super cool. So let's ask it to, can you run it and send me an example? And so now it actually has kind of built some of it, but we need to check out what it actually built. So I do believe that it created a new Airtable. So here it created, no, it actually didn't create a new Airtable. It just created a new NAN instance or workflow. And here you can see it right now. And it actually is live and public, which is super cool. Like, this is the best thing in the world. And as you can see, this is the workflow. And so it might have some issues. Like, we can ask it to run it, and it's going to try to send it to Telegram itself. And we can actually look at the executions to see what is happening. But since we're here, and since we can, like, it's really about human and AI working together, right? We can just try to run it and see if we get an error. And I bet that the Telegram is not set up correct. Oh, actually, it ran. And Claudia just sent a message right here called Trending Topics Scout Monday, February 23, and now we get a second one as well here. And here it is. Content angle here as well. And Gemini 3.1 Pro. And everybody's talking about how to design websites. Um, and yeah, exactly. Like some of these stuff, like I really want to see what trigger.dev is. So I might hop in there. And so that was how to build a morning message one. But you can obviously add a lot more stuff to it. So now that you know that it can do this, how could you do it even further, right? How can you get this to be even crazier? And I really want to expand your mind so you can actually build some really cool stuff. Because this is, again, the coolest thing since sliced bread, okay? Sliced bread is pretty cool. All my friends love sliced bread. Can't get enough. So let's take a look at the document here. Let's say now that it's finished, let's also save each trending topic to an Airtable base so I can track which ones I've already used and add a column that rates each idea 1 to 10 based on how well it fits my content style. And so now I'm going to add that into Claude Code, and you can copy paste the same as well if you want. It finished the content briefing. And so now it's going to check my existing Airtable setup. So now, of course, I have added my Mate OS to it. And so I recommend that you have your Nate OS or Mate OS. And here it's actually saying that it wants to add a trending topics table. So you may say, yeah, that's a good idea or a bad idea. Like we're going to let it run and I'll show you exactly how it looks like. So that is inside of Mate OS, just a new table. Or maybe you want to create a new base. For me, I just want it all in one. So here you can see that it's actually continuing to work. And if we just keep going, we can actually go inside. Here it has a trending topics one. And just like that, I created the entire Airtable with all the headers. I don't know about you, but I'm actually tired of creating the headers of these things. Sometimes it's kind of like, oh my God, gotta click on this thing and that thing. Gee. And so now Claude Code is doing it for us. So here it's doing the rewriting the code node section. So the code node here, which is so awesome because many of you have probably used ChatGPT for a lot of nodes that you want to reformat, but that's obviously quite costly, like compared to code node, which is ultimately free. And so you'll see that it's actually going to do some changes and then it's going to say last updated 9 minutes ago. So it's still working. Now, I'm going to obviously get to the end of this video here that you're watching now, but I also want to show you how to take it one step further. And that is to, if you are like a little bit technically inclined, you can have one instance like this running Claude Code on desktop. And you can have that on one side of the screen, just like this. And then you can have Visual Studio Code that is running inside of your Claude Code, or that doesn't make sense, but Visual Studio Code can also run Claude Code while using the subscription plan. So you don't have to use an API because that can become quite expensive. So I highly recommend using the paid subscription plan and not the API. But once you've done that, you can have Claude Code in here. So if I just click on a new window here, I literally have Claude Code here as well. And now I can say, hey, can we make a thumbnail system of some sort? Should we? Or do we have one actually? And now it's going to read my Claude MD file and it's going to say you already have a fully built thumbnail system, right? Because it knows what we did before through the MD file. And all we have to do to run the full pipeline is this thing right here. And so as you can see, every time that I want to make do a task, I'll just try to do the task with Claude Code. And if it doesn't work, which it hasn't actually not worked yet currently. It's just like the output of it not being that bad. Like if it's a bad output, I'm like, oh damn. And then just saying change the output. Once it's actually finished, you see the results. You just say, hey, this is great, but one of the things that I want to change is this. Or to battle test it for real, you can ask it, hey, I love the way you're doing this, but can you explain this deeper? Like, for example, if you send to Nana Banana Pro, you can ask it, what is the prompt that you're sending to Nana Banana Pro? And then you can see that, oh, the prompt is pretty bad. And then you could tell it, hey, every time you run a prompt, just say, change the face, right? The exact phrase, change the face only, or something like that. And then it's going to be better. So you can always change its prompts. You can and make sure that you save and systematize. And here we go. We have actually created the Telegram Airtable. So here inside of Mate OS, which is not the test one, but this is yours, right? So you would have this in yours. As you can see, we have the trending topics. I wish I asked it to grab the thumbnails as well, because it looks quite cool if we grab the thumbnails. But of course, just ask it to grab the thumbnails. It's perfectly fine. Like this one, for example, I really like how everything looks here. One of the things I haven't asked it about is removing duplicates. So there's a bunch of duplicates. I just made version 1. But as you can see, um, we made this trending topics automation that would take us probably, I don't know, depending on the skill level that you're at. But imagine you're a 0 skill level, and for me to teach you NAN, and then for me to teach you Airtable, and then for me to teach you how to do creative thinking around prompting this stuff, to just prompting Claude. The game has changed forever. And that's nothing I'm saying like hyperbolate. This is doing way better work than many people, many Upwork automators that you can find out there. And it's doing it in a single prompt in less than 30 minutes. And so if you've been thinking about how to do agent building, agentic workflows, and really changing your way of thinking over to this new way, which is agentic workflows. Once again, agent building is no longer, we're not making automations anymore. I highly recommend you checking out this video right here and doing it step by step, and then do a task, right? So I had to plan my meeting today, meeting prep. And you know how my meeting prep looks today? Well, my meeting prep looks absolutely gorgeous. This is my meeting prep. Isn't that beautiful? And so, what is the next task? Pay the internet. I can't do that with the API, but there's a phone button press to ideas. Thumbnail process finished. AMA live video on YouTube. Like this one I almost have completely finished, where I upload this live recording that you're watching right now, and then it just takes the transcripts and just whooshes it out on YouTube with 3 thumbnails that I don't even have to make or publish. And it just happened in Claude Code in just a day. And I am just incredibly excited about the future of this community, the AI automation space. Like, I love making automations, but if I can do this, then everything is going to be way, way cooler. So, one thing and one idea that if you want to test this is try to make a face references folder, like just like this, of your face. Maybe you have your face already. And then ask Claude Code to take all these 10 images and a YouTube thumbnail of your favorite creator or something like that, and then recreate the thumbnail and see how that looks like. Now, there is some plagiarism going on here. which I don't like, and I don't really know how to get to the end of that one. But plagiarism is a big issue there, especially with this phase. Damn. But yeah, try to ask it. Hey, can you put my thumbnail face references into Nana Banana and the prompt make me into an astronaut? You'll be surprised of your Claude code can now do agentic tasks, things that you had to go online before and then retrieve, or things you had to click a button in Airtable and then retrieve. It all is now down to Claude Code. And I'm extremely excited for the future of it. And I hope you are too. And if you're watching this now and you have been a member for AIMA for a bit and you're like, whoa, NAN is dead or Airtable is dead. And the real truth is like, get better at figuring out what is the next task and then figuring out what is the automation input and output, but not actually figuring out how step by step to get there. It's almost like asking a chef to cook a steak or make an apple pie. And then you don't have to say other than make me an apple pie. And then it actually goes and does it for you. And if you come back with a pear pie or something like that, you're like, this is a pear pie. Bro, you should have made an apple pie. And then it goes back and figures out the actual step by step process of making the apple pie. Instead of us figuring out the step by step, which we've done now for months and months and months inside of NAN, we've literally been focusing on numbers and crunching and formats and JSON objects. And oh my God, I love it. But I also, I like the output of it. And now we have Claude Code that can do it for us. And you have Mate OS that I highly recommend you make yourself. I'm obviously going to give this away at some point, but I just want to make it really great. So it's not like anything that I just like bang out there and everybody gets, but obviously you can make this with your own very, very easily. And the perspective I want you to think about this is really um, to give it documentation or documents or files that it can use again and again and again and get better every single time that we talk to it. So it becomes a valuable member of your team. It becomes the best assistant that you ever have had, and we'll end up on a Claudia, which is I haven't talked about this, but yeah, Claudia V2, which is how we're going to pull it into Telegram and stuff like that in the future. We're still early on this, but hopefully, if you want to set this up yourself, um, and you want to, making agents yourself that does work for you, keep sticking along here. Keep watching the Monday videos, and yeah, this is what we're going to talk about for a long time. Feel free to ask, and yeah, that's about it. Peace. See ya next Monday. Bye, guys.